Hey, you know who it is. It's your boy, Shooter the Investor. I'm checking in for the gang. Hey, happy Friday. Today is March 17th. I'm checking in per usual, and I hope everybody's having a good week. It's been crazy. I mean, a lot of ups and downs in the crypto market. Banks are getting seized. I mean, the banking system is showing their true colors as being as corrupt as ever, but we already knew that. We already knew that. We're not new. This is not a big surprise of what happened with SVB and Stargate and Signature Bank. It's unfortunate because, you have honest people working for these companies and these banks, people that's putting their money, thinking they're going to get returns on their investments. And ultimately, you got the greedy top, right? People that's like, hey, let's take these customer deposits and use them for our own well-being of producing revenue, right? And it's really unfortunate. And the thing about it is that, again, it's no surprise. When you open up these accounts, right? When we can talk about brick and mortar banks like your Wells Fargo's, your Bank of America, and you open up these accounts, they give you the paperwork, the packet, right? That thick packets, a lot of mumble jumble legal jargon in there. And most people don't read it, right? I don't know why. I'm guilty as that in the past of not reading it. But I'll share a story with y'all, and then we'll talk about the crypto markets and all that stuff. It'll be a quick story. If you've never had to go to the bank and withdraw a large sum of money, and for those who have, then you can kind of relate with this. Let me know in the comments below, right? I had to withdraw a large sum of money. I'm not going to tell you how much money it is. That's not here or important. Just know there was a large sum of money. Now, as usual, before I go to the bank, I have my phone, I have my balance on there. I know the money is there. I always confirm, never know, things happen, breaches, or whatever the case may be. So I go to the bank and I go up to the teller and they tell you, oh, you trying to take out how much? Oh, you're going to have to set up an appointment. Meaning you have to speak to like a branch manager and you got to sit down in a little cubicle room and kind of talk to them or whatever the case may be. And they ask you questions like, why? Like, why do you want this much money? And I'm just sitting there like, mother ever is my money. But, I understand why. I understand why they ask this stuff. And I understand, especially if you're dealing with certain credit unions or banks or whatever the case may be, depending on how much the money is, banks only keep a certain amount of money. You got security. I don't want nobody to feel uncomfortable for my request. So I answer the questions, whatever the case may be. The manager tells me that, we're going to have to set an appointment and you will have to come back in between 48 hours to 72 hours to get the funds. And so this is where the confusion kicked in for me because I'm like, I have the funds on my account. I pulled it up, put my thumbprint on there, showed them, look, the funds is there. And they was like, no, it's definitely here. Shooter. And they didn't call me Shooter, obviously, in a bank. Could you imagine them calling me Shooter in a bank? Wow. But yeah, it is like, no, you definitely had the funds and but we can't give you the money today. And she didn't really get into explaining why. And it kind of frustrated me, but I'm not going to make a scene at a bank. If you haven't noticed, I am a black man. That wouldn't have been the right thing to do, right? So I go home and I'm like 86 hot, right? Talking to the wifey and everything. And she's like, what the heck? And so I started doing some research. I always sit down and do my own research for any and everything, stuff that I don't understand. So I start Googling about banks and what they do with the money and this, that, and third, and why you can't get your money. And it's a shocking, again, the information there in the packet, right? They let you know they can put your deposits and other assets to gain capital for them up to 50 to 80% of your funds, right? I highly suggest you go read your paperwork, right? And to tie it all in, what the SVB was doing was taking these deposits, buying bonds at a low interest rate, not expecting the interest rate to shoot up like it did. I mean, remember, these interest rate was about 1.5% at one point. A couple of years from now, talking about right now, it's damn near up to 10%. And so people are like, hey, we want our money. They're looking like, give us a day. or 2 or 3, and they can't liquidate these bonds. They don't have the liquidity, et cetera, et cetera. Like by this time, we all know what happened. And this is, and when I first heard about the SVB, I was like, it's going to be more banks getting seized for sure, because this is what they do. Brick and mortars, these high loan interest bank, these high loan lending banks for like tech companies or whatnot, non-brick and mortars like Barclays and all that stuff. They all do it. They all do it. So it's not a surprise. And I highly encourage you guys to go read a book. It's called The Federal Reserve Cartel. It's by Dean Henderson. I'll drop it here. You can kind of check it out. And then go look up an article called The Meeting at, I want to say Myrtle Beach or something like that. I'll double check. I'll throw it here. I can't, it's not clicking right now. I'll throw it here and you can go check out the screenshot and go look it up yourself. And that kind of gives you the understanding the Federal Reserve versus the government. Because if you didn't know, the Federal Reserve is not owned by the government. The Federal Reserve is owned by the banks and the 8 families, which is part of the Federal Reserve cartel. And then you can start like doing your whole murder board, right? With the yarn and the tax and everything. You can start pinning it together. Ultimately, the financial system that we have here in the United States, and I'm pretty sure this is overseas as well, it's cracked, right? And it was only built for the wealthy. And we know this already, right? It's like we don't live under a rock. We know a lot of these, like the government, and I'm not talking about bad about our government. I'm not here to bash the government for those who are watching this. I'm not anti-government or whatnot. But I am about being fair. And we all know that the 1%, these major families that pretty much put this country together from back in the day of the industry era, they have their thumbprint all over this financial stuff, right? And that's why it's important for not just me, but us, right? As a collective, I'm talking to you guys, that we invest, right? The one thing about it for sure is that we can invest in the same thing that they're investing in. Now, we may not have the capital, right? And we may not see the bigger returns because we don't have the capital like them, but we can jump in the same stocks, same stock plays or whatever the case may be. We can buy the same real estate or whatever the case may be. We can open up businesses, be entrepreneurs, whatever the case may be. But the beautiful thing is we have this new asset, cryptocurrency. They're so confused. A lot of these old heads, they don't know. They're just grumpy old men and women, bah hung bah, crypto, And they understand that crypto, in my opinion, is a way for the common folk like me and you to actually create some wealth and possibly generational wealth, right? And ultimately, when you get that generational wealth, you get financial freedom. So they know that. That's why they want to regulate crypto. That's why crypto regulations for the last 2 years has been a hot topic. It's not to get rid of crypto. Crypto is the future if you believe it. Blockchain technology is the future if you believe it. They are trying to regulate it. When you're regulating something, you're not regulating or setting rules to get rid of it. You're setting rules and regulations so it can work for you. And so you have this 1%. And they've been in these meetings like, wait a minute, you telling me at the height of this that cryptocurrency was a $2 trillion, almost $3 trillion industry, and we're not getting none of that? How is that possible? And they're telling you in your face. They want a piece of what's going on that we've known about for the last 10, 12 years. So understand that we are still early in cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. Understand if you are invested in different projects, whatever projects that you're in. I'm not here to tell you which projects to get in. I just share which projects that I'm in. You're early to the party, and thus don't allow these media outlets and these headlines of everything distract you from what you believe in and what you've been researching in. If you are in a particular cryptocurrency, Ethereum, Bitcoin, ADA, and you believe in that project, you stand on your business. Don't let these people, man, this is trained psychological warfare to get you to sell your bags. And I'm not just saying that where you like, well, shooter, you're just trying to make me hold my bag so you can. No. This happens in the stock market. I would dare you to research who controls these media outlets. You'll be surprised who are heavily invested in these media outlets and why these headlines come out the way they do. I'll give you another example before we jump in my portfolio and other things. Think about 2008, if you was around for that, and if you have any recollection, right? I was fresh getting out the Navy, the housing market crashed because they was out there giving bad loans when people couldn't afford it, right? So the housing market crashed. We went into a super recession, right? It was bad. That was the worst time for me to ever get out the Navy. It was hard to find work. Luckily, due to my job, I was able to transition like safely. It took me a couple of months, but I was able to transition safely. I digress. So the market was at its worst. After that, it recovered. I would say about 2012, it settled as far as the housing market settled. And if you would have bought a home, let's say at $300,000, right? I live in California, $300,000. During 2012 to now, there's articles out, and I remember this, where they were telling you, oh, the market is going to crash, right? Market jumps up 2 years later. That 300,000 is about 350,000. 2015, oh, the market's going to crash. The housing market is over. The bubble's popping. Da 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 da. It increases up another 12%. And I'm just throwing random numbers out here, right? This is not accurate numbers. 400,000% return on your investment. So you're up 100,000. By the time of 2022 and all these bad news article about the market being in a bubble, it's over. We're going to go back to 2008. 2021, the market yield about 14%. And if you would have bought that home back at 300,000 around 2009, 2010, you could have sold that home roughly about $650,000. That's $350,000 return on investment. Why do they have these articles that get printed? Because you have the powers to be, and this is not a conspiracy. Like I said, go do your research. You'll understand who owns these media outlets. They put this out there to scare you. It's a scare tactic to get you to sell. I'm not making this up. It's very like in your face. Excuse the helicopters. It's very in your face. They tell you these things to sell. FTX. FTX was horrible. Yes, bunch of slime ball scammers. SBF and his cronies did a horrible thing. They made it seem like crypto was the worst thing on the face of the earth. Article after article, newsline after newsline, scaring people. My mom calling me like, are you okay? Is your crypto fine? You shouldn't be investing in that. Like, it riles you up. It causes panic. It causes fear. FUD, right? It's major FUD. But the whole time, the bank industry doing it the same. Now that's calling the kettle, painting the kettle black, right? I digress, right? I just wanted to kind of open up with that. We definitely gonna look at the portfolio, man. If you hung out this long, man, drop some like fire emojis or facts or whatever the case may be, and kick it in the comments, man. Let me hear what y'all thoughts is with this whole bank crisis and everything. And I always tell them, hey, the banks are closing, but blockchain is up. You dig? Anyways, man, we're gonna jump into the port. We're gonna look at the port, and I like to kick things off. Right now, we're looking about 51 on the fear and greed index. 51 last week was at 33 because of this whole SVB situation, Stargate situation as well too. But we sitting roughly at 51. I'm neutral, right? I'm Jimmy Neutron, really neutral in this market. Not really taking profits. I took small profits like earlier this week. Kept a little reinvested. I'm really not doing anything until we get up out this little wave that we're in. Like I said, 2023, in my opinion, we're going to be doing a lot of crab walking, a lot of consolidation, a lot of sideways trading. And that's my opinion, right? Overall, my portfolio this week, we green bean, baby. Now, Helium took a hit by getting delisted on Binance. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but as soon as that news broke, I got the notification on my phone. I went immediately, because I mine Helium. I went immediately over to Helium and I cashed out. I had to cash out because, man, that thing was dropping. I mean, blood was in the water, and they really have not regained since then. As you can see, it was roughly at $2.50. I saw the news and I got out roughly around $2.30, $2.25. I got out, and when I mean got out, I just sold the Helium that I had. I get it directly sent to Binance US, and immediately I sold it, and converted it to some other cryptocurrencies. Now, for me personally, when I deal with Helium, I use it for what it's worth. I mine it. I have a couple of miners. I take the profits. I turn it to USDC, and I buy other cryptocurrencies. Not saying I don't believe in Helium, what they have going on. It's just, it is what it is, right? It's not one of my major players in my portfolio. It's a passive asset that's making me money. I fully paid off my miners already. So right now we just green bean. So whatever money we make is good money. And I just throw it into other things. XRP, Cardano, Polkadot, Avalanche, just to name a few. And that's not me telling you to go out and go buy these. You already know my stance when it comes to like layer ones that I mess with. Rest of it though, I mean, Polkadot, 17%. Now, if you've been tapped in on my YouTube shorts, you know what I mean, or my IG reels, we talked about the levels of buying Polkadot about a week ago. And it hit all two levels, but my 425, the $4.25 level. It hit that 525, and I went in there. I think I got it on about 510, about $5.10 or something like that. Maybe it was this 528, depending on what chart. I know on TradingView it said like 510. Went in there, stacked it up, bought some more. Now we're pumped up right now. So y'all know I'm a big fan of Polkadot. You already know how it go. Mass network looking really good this week. I mean, that thing is rolling. Y'all know I'm in that mass network. I need to do a video and talk more about mask for sure. The graph is pumping right now, 35% on the week as well. You see that AGIX, that Singletary net, that's one of them ones in that AI space pumping at 61%. That's a good time to probably take some profits, man. But you know, it's still in a sideways bear market, man. I'm taking no profits, man. We chilling. Y'all are up 30%. Bitcoin up 36%, breaking $27,000. So boot the Bitcoin, because when the banks is looking bad, Bitcoin is still running it. That just lets you know, man. Tell these people stop playing with us over in this crypto space, man. I'm geek right now, as you can tell, baby. Because I already know, man, they some snakes over there, man. I digress, y'all. Excuse my excitement. Fetch, you already know, is one of them ones. Big AI looking real strong at 32%, man. You see what's going on, man. I ain't going through all these bubbles. This is cryptobubbles.net, by the way. Save it, lock it down on your bookmark. It's a cool way to look at your portfolio, man. You can actually move these bubbles and everything, man. You know, play like bumper cars or whatever the case may be. Look, come through, smashing everybody. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin come back and just be smashing. Do that. You just drag it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, it's crypto bubbles. And if you notice, I changed myself. I put myself on the other side, man. Anyways, let's get into some charts. Let's look at some charts. Shall we look at some charts? Let's look at the big boys. Let's look at the big boys. Let's look at that big boy. Strong candle on this pullback. This is a classic retest of supply and go. Y'all already know, man. Y'all know my technicals, what I look for. Supply zones, demand zones, little resistance and support. Normally when I use a resistance support when I'm doing option trading, like day trading or whatever the case may be, for like long-term trading, micro, macro trading, I'm looking at supply and support zones. I talk about them a lot. As you can see, we retested this supply zone that was created back in November of last year. We retested it. We smashed through it. They said it was a fluke. We created a double top here, and they thought we was going to lose it. Even with the SVB news, these 3 weeks right here, it was a decent retest and hold. We held this supply zone and we ripped this week on Bitcoin. Look at that bad boy go. Now, you might be asking, Shooter, where do you see the next test? The next supply zone? I'm going to plot it out for you right now so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. So let me find my favorites, pull that up. This is tradingview.com, by the way. I got a video out about how I set up my TradingView. Go check that out. It can definitely help you out. Now, my next song, and I know if you don't know, I like using a rectangle. So my next song, right? And I always tell you about supply zones, right? Price action is always going to come back and retest supply zone eventually. Set it here, right? We were down below supply. We retested it. We burst through it. We retested it now as a support level, right? Supply and demand, resistance support. We use this as a support, right? A ground level. So price came back to the ground. Think of it as a bouncing ball, right? Bouncing ball in the room. So bounced up, smashed up through the area, ripped through the tissue paper, and that came back down, found the ground there. Nice sturdy, land their feet there, retested it a few times. We thought we was going to lose it, right? Had a nice little sell-off, thought we was going to lose it. Oh, bounced off that ground and ripped, right? That's what you want to see, man. That's healthy price action at its finest. Now, where do I see the next zone? Well, that's simple, right? Now I'm looking at this sell-off zone right here. This is a supply zone, right? How do I determine these supply zones? When you get massive sell-off or massive buying. Supply, massive sell-off and price action. And then demand zones are created when there is massive buying of that asset. So this is a massive sell-off. Look how much is sold off in those 2 weeks. Will we all agree, right? Actually, let me change the color on here, and I'll do you one even better, right? So we start from here to here. That's a 47% sell-off. That's a massive sell-off, right? So we all agree that's a massive sell-off, right? So this is the next, in my opinion, and just from years of charting, this is my next, let me scoop this over. This is my next supply zone. And that supply zone is between 28,008 and 32,006. Now, will it retest fully into that zone? It may not. This could be the retest and it might pull back down. And next thing you know, we'll lose it again. But I identify this as a sell-off. I got my high wick here. I do it from this wick. I could even move it down to here and we're already testing it, right? But that's not the case. You always want to get into the start of the move. So this candle represents that. If I was to switch this to the daily chart, and you'll see a little bit more information on it as well too. I really missed you guys, man. Last week I was sick as a dog, man. If you got kids, man, you already know, man. Kids be bringing them daycare germs home, man. It'd be the worst. For real. So this is the daily chart. All right, let me make this fit. Right. And as you can see, this is the power of the move. Then you have the sell off, right? Makes sense. All right. You can either adjust this, put it here. Might want to shrink that up and kind of line that up, make it more sense, right? On the daily chart. Daily chart, you're going to get more price action, more data. Obviously, weekly is based off the week. So each candle represents the day here. For me, I like looking at the weekly, but as you can see, we've ripped on a daily. Look at this. Look at Bitcoin going crazy. It's going crazy right now, right? I don't recommend buying Bitcoin right now. Not on these green candles. We don't buy green candles because if you buy on green candles, you get big red dildos, right? Hopefully I don't get hit or pinged on that. Whatever. So going back to the weekly, right? So going back to the weekly, now we got our next zone. So this is my next zone for Bitcoin. 28, we'll call it 28.9. 32.5. That's what I'm looking at. So I want to see us retest this, right? Actually, what I want to see after this big push here, I want to see us pull back a little bit. Find a support, maybe find support here about 25.3, right? I got some price action right here, a nice Windsor, some nice wicks here. Maybe we'll pull back and I can look on a daily chart and find a better support or resistance or support, excuse me. And maybe we'll pull back about 25.3. So if we start pulling back around that 25.3, for those who want to buy Bitcoin, that's probably your best bet because we're pulling back, right? You're buying on red candles. You're not buying a high. You're not FOMO buying in right now. So I will come here and set a nice little alert, right? Set me a nice alert. I got some good price action here. I got to hit here. I got to hit here. I got hit here. That's 4 hits. That's a good support area. I'm happy with putting an alert here saying, okay, if we cross at 25.2, I might want to go ahead and throw a couple of dollars into Bitcoin. Now, where else could we look at, right? Let's set up another alert, right? I'm looking here. What about 21.6? Maybe we really start pulling back. That could be an awesome buy zone for Bitcoin. I'm going to go ahead and put one there as well too, right? Right? So those are 2 good buying opportunities, in my opinion, just looking at the chart, right? We're looking at the chart, found some decent support levels. Maybe those are a good opportunity. And if the SHIT hit the fan, pull back to this 18. Did I get it? Oops, I said copy, set alert, add alert, right? So now those are 3 buying levels, right? That Bitcoin has already traveled for as price action, and I feel comfortable buying. Then I have this major resistance or supply area that it needs to retest within here. So my personal opinion, buying Bitcoin right now, I wouldn't do it. I know there's going to be a lot of YouTube people say, buy now, we're going to 100,000. Let's be smart, right? I'm showing you the massive candle here, right? This massive big Bertha of a candle. We don't buy green candles. That's dumb trading. We wait till it pull back, right? Just like when you had this run here from 16, right? If you didn't buy here, yeah, you missed a good opportunity to get Bitcoin for a cheap price. But ultimately, Bitcoin is still down from a year. So you're still getting it at a good price. You just didn't get it at the best price. And it might be an opportunity that it could return here. We don't know. But you can still get it for a decent price. I don't want you throwing your life savings or your mortgage or your rent on it right now. Why it's pumped up 36% on the week. Like, that's dumb trading. And there's going to be a lot of people to tell you to get in because we're about to go to the moon. That's not the case. We need to pass this 68.9 for the moon. We're not there yet. We need to get past this hellacious supply area before we even start thinking about bull market. It's not happening, right? And it could happen, but it's not happening right now in this current time. That's what I'm telling you. So be cautious, right? Just keeping it real with y'all. So those are some good opportunities, right? Let's look at ETH, right? ETH looking the same way, right? This is still the weekly right here, right? We're still on a weekly. ETH is having a nice run as well, too. We determined that ETH is having a, where's it at? Where's my ETH? 24% run up, right? On the week. It's coming out of this beautiful flag pattern or pennant pattern, right? Looking really good on the week. Let's change this on the daily, get a little bit more information, and we can kind of see it, right? Let's back out. Let's zoom out a little bit. And so we'll say, or you'll say, shooter, when is a good time to buy some ETH? I'm a fan of ETH. Well, obviously, we're not buying ETH now. ETH is very expensive. ETH has been running hot. We don't buy green candles, right? So what do we look at? Well, this could be an opportunity for it to pull down 17.15, right? If you want to see it pull back around here. So we'll set an alert. Is there a real difference between 1770 where it's trading to 1717? I mean, I personally wouldn't buy it, but that gives you an opportunity to know that we have a floor, right? We have a support area around here. We could pull back. If you want to strike then, that's fine, right? Or we can look at it from a more technical aspect and be like, what is more realistic, right? We can kind of see a lot of price action, a lot of consolidating, a lot of attempts to break through little small supply areas or support resistance area. And we can kind of use those. Or we can look at the swings, right? This is a swing low before the move, right? This candle represents a swing low. Why? Because the price ripped, it pulled back, which created a low, and then it ripped again. So we can kind of come here and look at this low and say, okay, 1625, or give or take, might be a good entry point for me, right? So I'll put an alert there. I don't know if it did it. Add alert. 16. Let's say 1625. The sensor here and there. Right now, I got an alert there, right there on that swing. And if it's off, then I can come move it or whatever the case may be, right? Right there on that swing. And I'm cool there, right? Knowing that, okay, that swing, we could return there. This thing could double tap, return here and retest. I feel comfortable throwing a couple of bucks at Ethereum. Where's another good buy-in, right? Let's say the market or, the Fed decides to want to cause hell in the market. Let's see at 1550, right? We got a nice little build up here, not a confluence here. Maybe that might be a good opportunity for a buy. So per usual, excuse me, I'll throw alert right there. I'm cool with that. If XIT hit the fan, oh, I got this swing low from this previous sell-off before the big run up back in March that I can say I will put the rest of my budget into Ethereum here, right? So I know why it's doing that here. There we go. I'll put the rest of my budget in Ethereum because I don't believe in the markets. I believe something's going to happen. It's technically still in like a bear sentiment in a sense, and maybe this thing might pull back and something sell off. I don't know. Maybe more banks was closed and crypto. Anything can happen, right? Just want to be aware where we're not sitting here watching charts all day. So now I got 3 levels. I'm comfortable going and buying a little Bitcoin, little Ethereum here and there, right? And how do I do it, right? So again, if I have $1,000 budget for this particular movement, right? This particular swing play that I'm looking at, or an investment play, right? I got my alert here set at, and we'll use this one because it's more realistic to me. 1600, we'll pull back to 1600 Ethereum and I got $1,000 bullets, I might come in about $250. And now you like, shooter, well, you only using $1,000. It's not going to buy you a whole Ethereum. The name of the game is to get skin in the game. Some people may not have $1,600 to put on Ethereum at the time, right? Maybe they only have $1,000, $500, whatever the case may be. You take the number that I'm giving you and you fit it to your budget, right? So I take that $1,000 and say it trips this trap wire. You know, we call these alerts trap wires. If flip that, I'm gonna put in about $250, right? Come in really light, depending if it's a major sell-off. Therefore, I don't get caught throwing the whole budget at it, or I'm looking at it like, okay, this thing really can pull back. So I want to have enough capital to put more in as this thing falls, right? So I come in about $250. That's pretty light. Okay, so it trips that one at 1620, right? Then our next one was at 1550. Is there a big difference between 1620 and 1550? Give or take. Maybe I'll come in with another, I don't know. Let's say we'll move the budget up about $500. So now I didn't spend, about, let's say $300. So now I done spent a total of $550, meaning I got $450 left. So we hit that tripwire. We bought a little bit more ETH, whatever the conversion is at that for that rate. I'm living good. I'm good. Maybe we get a massive set off, right? And it trips this last one. This is where I'm going to throw the rest of my budget in there. Why? Because we're dollar cost averaging. Therefore, I'm putting the mass majority of or what's left so it can trump what I put in. So I already put in 450, right? Or was it 550? 550, two different places. Now I'm putting in the 450 right here. So therefore, my dollar cost average will come down. It's not going to come down by much, but it's going to come down. Maybe now I might want to reevaluate and say, if I got an extra 500, another 1,000 on the sideline, maybe I might come in a little more heavy here and then set another trap around this 1178, right? And then come in more heavy there. That way, I'm dollar cost averaging into the play instead of throwing the whole thing. So if I was to throw the whole $1,000 here, this thing start pulling it back at 30 and get to this bottom, I'm down. How much money will I be down? If I put the 1,000 here at this candle to here, I'm down 20% on my investment, meaning $200 off the rip. So that's the smart way to do it. Be patient. I know you'll come and look at these charts. You hear the news. You hear that things are running up. You watching YouTube. They telling you Ethereum going to 10,000 and you don't understand charts or anything like that. And you're just listening to the guys on YouTube because they got a bunch of followers and all that type of stuff. And they flash the Lambos and all that stuff. Don't get caught up in the sauce is what I'm telling you. Take a time out to learn how to do charts. Understand charts. I got plenty of videos free, right? You don't have to just learn from me. Find someone that you like on YouTube, and if they got charting videos and they explain it to where you can understand it, check it out. Learn how to do these charts. It's very important, right? It's just to keep it a buck with y'all. So I don't want to make this video super long per usual. I do want to look at maybe two more cryptocurrencies. They're pretty much going to look the same. Y'all know which one I'm looking at. You know I want to go look at XRP. All my XRP heads out there, right? On the week, pretty stale, right? Let me move some of these drawings. Move all these drawings. Pretty stale. I set some trip wires earlier this week. I want to see if I can get in about 35 cent, 34 cent, and 33 cent. And then ultimately, if it pulls down to about 29, 30 cent. XRP is still kind of trading. It's trading decent, but you know, with this whole SEC thing, we can't expect a lot of movement. And I'm fine with that, right? We send in a nice pattern here, this bear flag pattern right here. And we're trying to see if it's going to break to the bottom or is it going to rip or not, right? But from looking at it, just looking from a supply, the next major area from a retest of supply, I will call out is definitely this 46 cent to about 52 cent area right here. As you can see, this massive sell-off for sure. And then after that, you have the supply area up here about $1 to 70, call it 70 cent, right? So XRP is a long way from like really making some noise, especially with this SEC hanging over that head. But I mean, ultimately, you see how grimy these SEC people and these banks and Federal Reserve people really are. So this might be an easy win, in my opinion. Do your own research. I'm not telling you go buy XRP or hold XRP. This could be an easy win for them. Let's look at ADA. ADA's been kind of slow as well too. ADA's been actually doing good in this bear market. They've came out with their stable coin. They've coming out with a lot of different. They're adding to their ecosystem is what I want to say, and they've been actually trading very decently throughout this bear market. Yes, they had their sell off just like everyone else. But from the numbers, when I looked it up, there are about anywhere between like 16, 17% consistently getting new investors or new users or whatever you want to call into ADA. So shout out to the ADA game, man, if you down with them. One last one. I got to look at Polka Dot. Polka Dot. Approaching this mini supply area right here, about $7.50. Nice bounce off their trend right now. You see I had alerts set. And here's the candle where we bought last week, and the low was $5.15. So I was able to rack up, bought about 100 more dot or something like that at that price. So I was very happy, and now we making some nice gains right now, and want to see if we get up in this $7-8 range. I'm not really looking at Polka Dot profit taking it to, I don't know, man, maybe the next time all-time high. Whatever the case may be, we'll see, man. I'll let you guys know, but I'm not in no rush of taking profits on pretty much any of my cryptocurrency. I might eat a little here just to kind of keep the motivation going. But I just been pretty much just chilling, man, rinse and repeat, adding more capital into certain plays when the time presents itself, the opportunity presents itself. So yeah, man. I'm sorry, man, if that was a long video, man. I really wanted to get that off my chest in the beginning with these banks and how they just really trying to kill the blockchain technology and the cryptocurrency community when they're doing the same darn thing, but worse and longer. That lets you know, man, crypto is definitely the future. Crypto is going to be here, in my opinion. They're regulated for a reason because they want in. They trying to get their little greedy palms on it. I mean, Warren Buffett said he wouldn't even buy Bitcoin if it was down to zero, but yet he put billions of dollars into a bank in South America who is doing what? Creating their own cryptocurrency. So yeah, maybe you didn't want to get into Bitcoin, but you definitely invested into a company that didn't just surprisingly just start doing a cryptocurrency on their own, because I guarantee as an investor, you're going to get their roadmap and you're going to see what they're doing, because at the end of the day, you're thinking about what is my return on investment? What products, what services are you guys going to be creating where I can benefit from my investment? So you knew they were going to make that. This is just little things, guys. Again, you can go look up the Warren Buffett speech where he talked about not wanting to invest into cryptocurrency. And you can go see how much money he's put into. Matter of fact, since I'm still holding you, so you know I'm not a cat, I'll show you right now, man. So if you hung out this long, you get a little invest in a South American, bank, right? Boom. That's his company, Berkshire Hathaway, made his crypto investment plan with the SEC filing earlier this week, revealed that Buffett company had purchased 1 billion shares in Nubank, a digital bank based in Brazil and the largest of its kind. Oh, we're not paying for no subscription. Let's find another article. We're not paying for no subscription. Not at all. So here's one of the articles. Right? So you see that he put money into Nubank, right? So let's see what Nubank doing. Copy that. Copy that. Nubank crypto. Right? Buffett-backed digital bank Nubank is to launch its own cryptocurrency in Brazil. Just saying. And breaking news, Trump will surrender to face charges if indicted, defense lawyer says. We're not going to click on that, man. This video will get longer than what it needs to be. But I just showed y'all. Just do a little research, right? Stay tapped in. This is the stuff that goes on behind the scene. They telling you in your face. They'll tell you one thing, but do another thing. That's all I wanted to show y'all. Anyways, it's your boy Shooter, the investor, man. I checked in for the gang. I love y'all. Missed y'all for sure. Like this video if I deserve the like. Drop some comments. Let's chit chat. Check out my ebook, How to Crypto. It's available. The link is below. And go check out my latest ebook. I created a stock market ABCs book. This book was inspired by my daughters, who we talk about the ABCs in the stock market, right? So A is for Apple, the company. B is for Boeing. C is for CrowdStrike, etc. That's how I teach my kids. We don't do A is the traditional Apple, B is for boy, or C is for car. Nah, man, enough of all that. I'm trying to plant these seeds in their brains now. Why, their brains are like sponges. So I created that for y'all, the parent. It'll give you some good information, teach you about ticker symbols, give you some information about the company, what products and services this company makes. Ultimately, you're not just educating your child, you're educating yourself. Even if you're a seasoned person in stocks or whatever the case may be, it's still a good information, fun book, just to kind of start helping your kids out early. So check those ebooks out. If you want to support it, cool. If you don't, I still got love for you. I just want to let you know it's available. Crypto heads, make sure you're securing your bags. Make sure you got yourself a cold wallet. I don't care if it's a 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐬. I don't care if it's Ledger. I don't care what it may be. You need to be securing your bag. Sorry for the color change here. Those white screens. Secure your bags. Secure your bags. I got links to Ledger and 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐬. You don't have to use them, but please secure your bags. Do not keep your big bags of crypto on these centralized exchanges, especially during this time where these banks are getting seized. It's not safe. Put your big bags on a cold wallet. If you do not have a budget for a cold wallet or cannot afford one of these cold wallets, totally understand. Look at the cryptocurrency centralization. They normally have a hot wallet or a decentralized place where you can put your crypto on there. So if something happens to the centralized exchange version, at least you still have the crypto there where you can transfer it elsewhere. Please, 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 hot wallet or cold wallet, get your crypto off the centralized exchanges. Not saying they're bad, but we don't trust none of them. We only use them for buy, sell, and transfer crypto to cold wallets and hot wallets. I talked to you guys enough, man. I totally missed y'all, man. I'm making up for time. Again, it's your boy Shooter the Investor. I checked in for the game. Peace. I know this video was long, but if you rock this long, man, I love y'all for sure, man. Let's go get it, man. They can't finesse us out the bags. No, sir. Bye.